Today I want to show you this Claude Code build that before actually pressing start on, thought I would just pump the brakes and walk you through my process here for actually building this. So basically on the left here, you see my Claude Code screen inside VS Code. And this is the Claude MD, which basically means this is the brain of the Claude for this project. These are going to define the rules that we set out for our autonomous agent to have. In this one, I'm using the DOE framework, directives, orchestration, and execution. Basically what we're doing is we're separating the agent's architecture into 3 different layers, using Claude Code and Python to really handle more of that complexity. What I want to build today is an agentic workflow where a prospect from my business website submits a form interested in doing business with me with the following criteria: name, email, business website, reason for meeting. Then upon completing, it's automatically sent into my TravisRaymond.ai master CM in the website form sheet. If the prospect provides a website, then an agent should be triggered to research the prospect's website and generate a quick analysis about the business, market, competition, and then suggest how my consulting and automation services could be packaged to solve their pressing business issues to provide immense value. Additionally, I want the website's SEO, design, and overall function and utility to be analyzed to determine whether it would be recommended that they upgrade their website. When someone fills out the form, I would like to be notified in my Slack channel, LeadGatekeeper, where I can either approve or deny the lead's request to meet. Approve will send them an email with a link to my Google Calendar. Reject will send them an email with a polite decline, but recommend other resources like my YouTube and free school community. And then manual outreach will pause the flow and allow me to respond personally. I like to just have a LLM alongside Claude because I really don't want to be using Claude when I don't have to save on token usage. So I have Gemini right here, and I've turned it to Pro, which is going to be the best for working with code. And then I just attached Claude MD, the brain, so it understands what we're doing in Claude Code. So just going over the basic architecture and plan here with Gemini, no issues here, nothing that we haven't thought of. So you can actually just write the LLM that you're working with to write you a prompt to input into VS Code. Write me a conversational prompt for Claude Code to start planning to accomplish this task. I want the tone to be conversational, giving Claude Code the ability to think for itself and not place constraints for it. Everything looks good here. So once the prompt looks good, we can hit enter and start planning. So this is the real first big important fork in the road. So you can see here, Claude is asking us about these 3 things: the form trigger, Slack app, and email provider. So here are the options that it provides us. You can pick one of these or hit other and then type something else instead. The second part of this is the Slack app. This is to actually have a human in the loop, and it's going to make it a lot better with vetting your leads. I've been working on a LeadGatekeeper Slack bot, basically, that sends your lead and the score straight to your Slack, and then you have these buttons to either approve, reject, or pause the workflow for a manual outreach. So I didn't finish that, so it would be great to see Claude go ahead and get this done for us today. So we already have the Slack app in progress, so we'll just say that. And then I really want my Gmail to be the email used because a Gmail address carries some weight with it. It's a legit email, and that's going to actually land in more people's inboxes. So, and then once you've considered everything, just hit 1, submit answers, and then Claude is going to continue working for us. And we're back. Our plan has been set. So here are the deployment steps that Claude has laid out for us. It didn't take too much time to finish the plan here. So we've got the LeadGatekeeper and research workflow implementation plan right here. Context: TravisRaymond.ai consulting group needs an automated system that turns website form submissions into fully researched, actionable leads without Travis, that's me, having to manually triage every inquiry. The system logs the lead, runs agentic research on their business, posts a rich Slack summary with one-click routing buttons, and handles the email follow-through automatically based on my decision. This is built on the existing 3-layer directives, orchestration, and execution, following all the patterns in Claude MD. Awesome. Quick architecture overview right here. So at the top, we have the Webflow form submit. So it comes down from the form, we log the lead, we scrape their website, and then we post the lead for Slack for me to approve. And depending on what I do there, it's either going to send them an email with my calendar where they can book a time with me, or I reject it politely, of course, and then send this email to them to either join my YouTube or free school community where we can learn together, or I can hit manual and it's going to be no email sent, or I can respond to them manually. So what we're doing here is just within this DOE framework that we've set up on our computer, we are creating these files for Claude to structure this automation. Okay, so files to create, layer 1 directive. So directives, LeadGatekeeper.md. So this is going to be the full standard operating procedure, inputs, outputs, tools to call, edge cases, environment variables. That's going to be like API keys, stuff that it needs to know to actually execute some of these steps. Layer 3, the execution scripts. So this is going to be all of the actions that it's taking. So you can think about this. I mean, it's handling all of these steps within Claude Code inside of our Modal endpoint, which I'll talk about in a second. But think about if you had to build this on a no-code workflow. Each one of these steps would probably be more than one step, and it would be more complex, right? So detailed implementation, just talking a little bit more about what's happening here. But this looks good to me. Edge cases. This is good. I'm glad it mentioned this. I didn't really think about this. So what happens when there's no website in the form? Scraping blocked. Some timeout things. So it's going to flag that it's a duplicate in Slack. That's a really nice feature. So if I'm getting spam, I can see that someone's filling out forms again and again, and I can do something about that. All right, so this looks good. I think we are ready to proceed. So here we go. And I hit auto accept right there. So it's just going to go ahead and hit the ground running. So when you actually tell Claude to get to work and execute with the plan that you worked on, it's going to make a to-do list right here, and you can basically monitor the progress. And if there's anything you see it working on that doesn't look like what you talked about for some reason, you can stop it and kind of steer it in the right direction. But I mean, really, if you wanted to, if you said auto accept, you could just walk away right now and go do something else and come back later, and you'd be fine. You can actually follow along as it's working and see the Python scripts that it's writing. So like here's the log lead to sheets, scrape and analyze lead, send email. So Claude is going to be handling all of this through the Modal endpoint. So we're kind of cutting innate in out of this completely and doing this in a little bit different way, which is more agentic. It can handle more complexity, and you've seen every step of the process on screen, with me so far. So you can see that this would have taken a lot more time to create, and it's just already finished it right now. All right, so the next steps to actually complete this this flow that Claude built for us are just to fill in the environment variables, our Modal secrets, and then create our LeadGatekeeper secret at modal.com, which is going to be our 24/7 cloud API endpoint, which is going to let us basically use all of this 24/7. And then we're actually going to deploy this here in VS Code to actually make that go live. So this is really cool because you can just click on your environment variables. You can see the ones from the other flow I was mentioning, the automated content pipeline, and then the LeadGatekeeper new variables. So these are what we need in order for the automation to work with our Modal endpoint. So Slack bot token, the signing secret, the Slack lead channel ID, Gmail address, Gmail app password. This is different than your Google Calendly link. This is actually going to be my Google Calendar link, but we can just put that in there and it's going to work just the same. We might want to correct that later just to have peace of mind. But YouTube channel, school community URL, and then the exact Google Sheets CRM ID. We'll just need to grab that real quick, paste it in here. So once we have that all inside of that environment folder and our Modal secret created, then we're going to be all set to go. So I'm going to fill in all these keys real quick, and then we're going to run it to make sure it works. All right, and when we're ready to deploy, we just copy this deployment right here, paste it in, and then it's going to ask if you want to proceed. We do. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. As we're trying to deploy the actual Modal endpoint, it's caught an issue because Fast API wasn't installed, and now it's pointing out that we need to fix these things before actually deploying. So this is a pretty cool catch here by Claude. So you can see here the two issues that we're fixing. The model web endpoint is deprecated, renamed to this, and then the Fast API needs to be changed to the images pip install list. So let's see if it works. I don't know. Okay, so we're just going through here and updating the incorrectly named parts of the code here, it looks like. Okay, so Claude was able to catch that mistake, and we have now deployed our two Modal endpoints to make this automation work. So inside of the LeadGatekeeper app, we've got the ingest lead and the Slack action components there in their own separate endpoints. You can click into them and look into the logs as well, which I'm sure we'll be doing here in a minute as we're testing this app to make sure it'll work. But these are now deployed. As you can see here, Claude made the corrections with the fast API mismatches. And now the next steps that we have to complete in order to configure are to set the Webflow form webhook URL to the ingest lead endpoint, and then Slack app interactivity and shortcuts request URL to the Slack action endpoint. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so before we move on with the final connection steps, I just want to make a quick call out, because this is pretty impressive here. You can see at the top, as we were trying to deploy the Modal lead handler endpoint, there were some errors because of a mismatch between the fast API name and how Modal has it. So it was actually able to correct that before we deployed, which saved us a lot of time and headache. So that's actually the self-annealing loop in action of the Directives Orchestration Execution Framework, which is going to be the best for creating agentic workflows with a tangible business outcome. So proceeding with the next steps to configure this, we need to set it's saying Webflow. I used Framer. I hope that doesn't matter too much. We're about to find out. Set the Framer form webhook URL to ingest lead endpoint, which is going to be right up here. This is our Modal endpoint that we're replacing it with. And then the Slack app interactivity and shortcuts request URL. Not as worried about that one. So let's see here, because I'm using Framer. You can use something else, but this is how you're going to do it if you're using Framer, which I would honestly recommend. So here is their web builder. Your homepage right here. You go to the top left corner, insert, scroll down here to elements, forms, form builder. So we're just going to create a new form here that is the same criteria that we have put into Claude Code. Just a few things to keep in mind. So I've created this one right here with the name, email, business website, and reason for meeting. You do just want to quickly double check and make sure that each field is labeled correctly. So I have the type of data being text. You can change it to email number, phone number, URL, date, time, and then change it to whatever prerequisite you want. But that's going to be important because we're not using the Google Sheets integration. We're using the Modal endpoint instead, right? So it's sending that JSON package to Modal for Claude to basically unpack and run the automation. So when you've completed your form and you're ready to go, you're just going to copy the webhook into this spot right here, hit webhook, not Google Sheets. We're going to hit webhook instead, and that way everything's going to be configured correctly. Okay, so unfortunately we did have some errors when attempting to fill out the form with the CAD-Bane test on the first try. So as you can see here, there's errors with pretty much all of our components here. So what I like to do here is just go to app logs and then just scroll down to the most recent execution that failed, because if you've got multiple components, it's going to be multiple things going wrong. So you can just copy everything and then feed it into the Gemini LLM that you're working with, in my case. So that's exactly what I did here. I just copied all of the logs so we can see what the exact error is. So you can see there's a lot there. And then just make sure again that you're on Pro, because that's going to be the best for math and code. And Gemini is telling me that the issue here is that when we deploy a script to Modal's cloud by default, it only uploads that single file, model lead handler.py, but the orchestrator script is trying to trigger the layer 3 execution scripts like log lead sheets.py and scrape and analyze lead.py. So because Claude Code didn't tell Modal to package those extra files into the cloud container, Modal is not finding what we need. So basically Gemini can read all of the logs that Modal gives you, and then you can feed it back into Gemini, and you can get a pretty good prompt right here to put back into Claude Code, and then we can work with Claude Code to fix this. So you can see here in Slack, this is the lead gatekeeper right here. So whenever I get a lead, I should be notified with the options that we laid out, and I should be able to approve, deny, or manually reach out to them. So let's bring Claude Code back up here. And I'm switching it back to plan mode because I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. We don't need to do that. And I like how Gemini has also created my prompts to be conversational, and it's remembered that. So the framer webhook triggered successfully, but we hit a module not found error on the modal side. Here's the trace back from the modal logs, which again, we just pasted into Gemini and it was able to find this. So we copied, pasted it here. And now we're asking Claude Code, please update the execution model lead handler.py to use modal.mount from local dir, or however you prefer to mount the local helper scripts into the container environment so that the orchestrator has access to the lead to sheets.py, scrape and analyze lead.py, post to lead slack.py, and send email gmail.py. So once you've added the mount configuration, please redeploy it to Modal so I can run my CAD Bane test once again. So let's see if Claude can fix this for us with the information that we've given, and redeploy everything to Modal as well. Okay, so after just a minute or two, we've got our new plan. So let's check it out. Okay, so here is the architecture overview again. So we've got the Webflow, form submit, which is actually Framer for us, but you know, it's the same thing. Post ingest lead, which is gonna be our first modal endpoint right here. And then we have our Python scripts. So we're logging the lead to Sheets. We're scraping the lead if they provided a website and analyzing the lead into a report. And then we're posting that lead to Slack, where there is a button where I either approve, deny, or decide for manual outreach. And that's where our second endpoint is, where those options either trigger an email for a calendar link or a polite decline to mention the YouTube or school community, or of course to message manually. So here is what we need to do on the layer 1, layer 3, directive, full SOP, layer 3, execution scripts. So we've already talked about this. So it's really nice because it's got the detailed implementation plan. So it's got all of the exact flows for each Python script that we have here. It's even got what our buttons are going to look like in Slack. So we've got the approve, reject, and manual outreach with emojis there. I like that. And then here's what we've got for the Gmail. So send via Gmail, SMTP. And again, we've got our Gmail address and Gmail app password in our environment right here. Pretty simple. We're gonna work with this afterwards, but right now it's just let's talk, booking link enclosed. Okay, I think we've got all of these already. Okay, so this all looks good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Claude do this and auto accept and see if this can't fix everything that's going wrong with our deployment. So here we go. All right, we're ready to deploy. So let's see if it works. So basically right here, each step along the way, it's asking me just to confirm before executing each step of the plan that we talked about here. So we're just going through each of these Python scripts here and updating what we spoke about in the implementation plan. And it looks like we're getting towards the end here. Okay, so how it works is when anyone fills out this form, it's automatically going to be sent into the master CRM, specifically the website form sheet. The LeadGatekeeper is going to assess the lead and provide a report if they provide a website, and then I get to decide whether I am going to send them either a email with my Google Calendar to schedule a meeting with me, or whether I'm going to politely decline and send another email that has links to my YouTube, blog, or free school. I'm going to enter another email that I have here as a test to see if that is sent properly when we do this flow. Got the Slack Gatekeeper channel open. So now we will see if this all works properly. It looks like we're having an issue with the Google Sheets. Same strategy here. We're going to take a look at the logs as it's not working, and it looks like we're getting a different error this time. So it's about the Google Sheets JSON. Close, but yet so far, it looks like. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do, how we can troubleshoot this. Modal is going to be really key here because we just want to see what the issue is. So I just copy all the logs and throw this in here. Again, make sure we've got it on Pro. We are on Pro. The mount command worked perfectly. We can see in the logs that Modal successfully grabbed the execution scripts and parsed our framer payload flawlessly. So it ingested the lead, received the lead, name, cadbane, email. So the new crash happened at the exact moment the script tried to talk to Google Sheets, key error, Google Sheets JSON. So that was what we saw in the logs. So Claude Code wrote log lead to sheets.py to authenticate with Google Sheets using an environment variable called Google Sheets JSON. But yeah, we never provided that to the environment variables. All we did was provide the spreadsheet ID. So it didn't actually have the authentication for the Google Sheets. So that's what's happening here. We can still fix this one last issue. Let's give this a copy and we can let Claude redeem itself. So this is a good example that even Claude Code is not perfect. So that's, again, why I like to have another really, really good LLM assistant to check it, because, you know, I'm not sure I would have caught that looking through the logs at first glance. I would have known that it was something with the Google Sheets, but not exactly what's going on. So let's take a look here and see if we are headed in the right direction. Okay, there we go. The gspread.oauth file-based auth calls to mount both credential files. Yeah, that's going to work better for our authentication for Google Sheets. So that was the main issue here, I think. So add the new environment variables, submit test form. Let's see. All right, let's try this again. Let's give this another shot. All right, so you can see the next steps here that Claude Code is recommending. So next, it is saying credentials.json. We're going to have to create a desktop app on the Google Cloud Console. I have a whole video about that if you haven't set those up yet. It's definitely worth watching because it can be kind of frustrating. Basically, what you need to do is go to the Google Cloud Console, and from there you go to you go to the sidebar, APIs and services, and then credentials. And then once you're on credentials, right here where it says create credentials, you're going to hit OAuth client ID, okay? And then you're gonna hit application type desktop, and then name this something like Modal Agent 2. I'm calling it Agent 2 because I just created one. But basically, then you're gonna have this this JSON. Hit download JSON, and then just rename it credentials.json and drag it into your VS Code folder. You can see I have mine right here. So basically, this is going to allow Claude Code to run commands in the terminal for Modal. So, all right. So I'm just opening up a new terminal here. So now we're in my Agentic workspace. I'm not sure if I have the Google OAuth libraries installed yet. So I'm just going to double check. Okay, now we're good. So do that, and then we are going to run this command, and a window should pop up. There it is. It's on a screen you can't see right now, but I'm dragging it over. So basically you run that command, the screen comes up. So this is really important here. You want to log into your Google account that you've been doing all of your Google stuff with. If you don't, you're going to run into some issues. So just make sure to log in with the same account as your Google Sheets and everything else, your Google Cloud Console. You should just do it all in the same email. The authentication flow has completed. Shout out localhost. Yeah, again, I have a full video on all of this Google Cloud stuff. If you want to check that out, I'll link it in the video. It's pretty helpful. Okay, yeah, so this worked. Yeah, so the token JSON, that is what we were wanting to create. And now we have that here. So that is great. So we have our credentials JSON, we have our token JSON. Okay, so we've added the credentials JSON and the token JSON. So now we can just tell Claude to redeploy. Fibber to beginning computing. Man, I think they make up some words. That can't be a real word. Okay, clean deploy. You can see Modal explicitly confirmed both files were baked in. Your endpoints are live at the same URL as before. Fire off the CAD Bane test. The Google Sheets JSON error is gone and the credentials are now in the container exactly where everything expects it. Okay, well, we'll be the judge of that, won't we? Because we've got a CAD Bane test waiting here, ready to go. Here we go. Oh, man. Okay. All right. This is interesting. And I think we're maybe missing our Opus, our Claude API key, because we're just getting these freaking errors. I mean, I wonder what happens when I press this. Let's see what happens. This will email CAD Bane your calendar booking link. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see if it works. Let's see if that part works. All right, so that did not go exactly how we wanted. Unfortunately, when you press the buttons, they are not working. So something is not firing there. We did get some spreadsheet fills, except the name is not where that's supposed to be. The email is the name, and then the business website is the email. And we didn't even get the reason for meeting. So we are missing a few things. In fact, I just want to run this one more time. I just want to run one more test and see with a different name how this is going to look. If it's going to run it 3 times again. Because look, we are providing a website. I need a new flamethrower. Okay, so submit. It's something with the JSON package, I guess. Okay, and for some reason the spreadsheet is going sideways, so that is not that's not what we want. So honestly, just screenshot everything you see going wrong. Right, that is the key here. And let's see if this works. We've got some feedback. I didn't even post the logs. We're gonna do that next. So again, let's take a look at our logs. See what's going on here. What's going on, man? Boom. So we're starting to get there. We're moving in the right direction. You can see our scripts are kind of working. Well, Gemini is so positive, and I just love that. Just have some data mapping and timing bugs, which is entirely normal. They're making me feel a little bit better. So yeah, somehow we forgot to include a Claude API key, which is kind of important. So that's kind of an epic fail. Let's see. Okay, so these are the issues that we still need to address: the payload mapping, the Slack interactivity 3-second rule, and the Google Sheets array alignment. So we're gonna copy this here, and we're just gonna add those things real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that there for a sec, and I'm gonna throw my API key in real quick, and we'll be set. Here are the bugs that we are addressing in this next go round with Claude Code. We are looking at payload mapping. We are sending JSON keys differently than expected. We're getting some errors like the buttons in Slack, and then also delivering it onto the sheets. So trying to fix that. And then bug 2, the Slack interactivity 3-second rule. When we try to press one of the buttons, it times out after 3 seconds. Working on that, Google Sheets. And then we're switching the analysis model to Sonnet 4.6, which just came out. It's gonna be sufficient for what we're doing. It's gonna save us a ton of tokens over time instead of using Opus 4.6, which you should really only use for your most complex work because it will eat through your tokens. Changing to Sonnet 4.6 on this one, and we're gonna put these updates into Claude. Let it go. So let's see if Claude can fix this. Let's see if Claude can fix this before I run out of credits for the day. So this time we didn't do the planning. We're pretty confident that these are the issues that we need to fix. So, Claude does have the ability to say, no, you're wrong. This wouldn't be worth doing. And it will still tell you if it thinks there's a better way to do it. But at this point in the process, we're kind of narrowing down in that funnel where we're looking just to fix the last little bugs and issues to get this running. So this is going to be really nice because when this is done, it's going to be a really nice workflow for organizing and grading incoming leads coming into your website. So this is something that you can set up for your business as well. And it's just a really efficient workflow to set up once and then have for your business going forward. Come on, Claude, redeploy and be right this time before we run out of credits. That would be so cool. Okay, so it says it's deployed all 4 fixes. Okay, we'll see if this works. I'm interested to see if this works. All right, let's see if this works. You can see we also changed the mapping of the sheet this time. So we've got date, name, email, business website, reason for meeting, status, AI analysis. So who should we send this time? We've been doing Star Wars bounty hunters. Let's just do Dengar. No, you know what? IG88. Submit. Let's check Modal. For some reason we got multiple reports. It looks like it was kind of figuring it out here as we went. The last one looks pretty good. So the new lead, IG88, it looks like the ingest lead part worked pretty well. No website. Okay, that's not correct because we provided a website, so that's annoying. Okay, so we're taking another pass at it. This is turning out to be a longer video than I thought because things pop up and maybe there's a better way to do this that I don't know about. But I think this method of basically working with Claude Code and then Gemini on the side to save yourself some tokens is pretty effective. It does take time to debug and fix issues, so of course it's going to take a few tries and it's going to take a few go rounds to actually get it to work. But you have to think about the outcome. It's like this is a very valuable automation once it's done, so it's worth spending a little bit of time to get it to work. But anyway, we're trying to fix these last few pesky bugs. So framers hidden underscores, sheet status update failing, and then Slack missing scope on the update. So Claude, can you just get this done? It's getting dark. Like we want to be done. Let's go. So we are going to deploy to Modal for like the 4th or 5th time, but I have a good feeling that this time it's going to work. All right, well, let's run it and see if it works. Okay, so our form has been filled out. I'm perplexed on why the data is not going to the sheet. It's really pissing me off. But I do like what we're getting here. So new lead, Dengar. Reason for meeting, I need a new hat. Not sure. Website, Compass, that is the one I put in. That's the email that I put in. It's confirming the website that we scraped. That is the one I put in, so that's great. And then we've got a little analysis here on the SEO and digital presence, website design and UX, business and market analysis, competitive position, and then the customized pitch. So I like it. It gives me an honest flag. It's like, they didn't have like a really legitimate reason to reach out. But so we just worked with Claude Code to fix some more of these pesky bugs. We're almost all the way there, but just having a few more minor issues with data mapping and the duplicates in Slack. So framer retries, basically it's not able to complete the entire report before the webhook hits, so it keeps trying it over and over again, like it's crashing. So that is what this is fixing. And then bug 2, the sheets no row found, just having some issues with the mapping still. So hoping that this time it works out. If it doesn't work this time, it's literally just a weird issue with this sheet. I'm just gonna nuke it and try again because I'm pretty sure that's like the last piece of this puzzle. So we're trying with Django Fett here, and I put in a local business here to test the Sonnet 4.6 analysis and research, putting together a quick pitch for us before we make our outreach. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So usually need to give it a few moments. Last time it took a few minutes for the new Slack update to come through. So we'll give it a minute. There we go. So date, name, email, business website, reason for meeting, status, AI analysis. Okay, great. So it looks like that filled out correctly. And you can see here, we've also got our LeadGatekeeper notifying us of the new lead. And it looks like everything was fixed because there's no duplicates. You can see before there was multiple dingars. See, look, dingar 1, dingar 2, IG88, IG88, IG88. So you can see we were able to fix that issue with the webhook being called multiple times. And this is really cool right here because you can see, I mean, it's a quick analysis. Obviously, you're going to do like more research before you reach out to them. But here's the lead information, right? So Django Fett, website, denvercentralmarket.com. I'm in the Denver area, so basically this is a mess hall where there's like lots of independent businesses that are all in there together with their own space. So I wrote a hypothetical situation. Hey, we're interested in creating a customer service phone agent to run 24/7 and answer questions about our business. We have several independent restaurants and we want to help unify the experience. So that could be a realistic outreach that you get. And you'd build a RAG agent with, all of the businesses that they have in there and all of the details and menus that you would want to include in there. But that is the reason for meeting. That's important because that's the intent. And this Sonnet 4.6 is actually analyzing the intent in its quick pitch for us. So research analysis, we're scraping the website that they provided, the denvercentralmarket.com. It's got our SEO and digital presence section, website design and UX, business and market analysis. So this is all correct, like what I'm describing. And then the competitive position. Very cool. So then we've got our buttons here. So approve, reject, or manual outreach. This would be a client that I would want to work with. So we're going to double check and make sure that this is working as it's supposed to. We just had one successful test here with our boy Django Fett. So now we're going to double check with Ayla Sakura and make sure that we've got a different website in there, Limelight Hotels, which is a local hotel here in Denver. And they're reaching out about an agent that can answer the phone, reference available rooms based in live time, and then book the person calling. So let's go ahead and submit that and give it a sec, and it will trigger the webhook into the Google Sheet and then get sent to the LeadGatekeeper down here, which is going to do a quick Sonnet 4.6 analysis based on the website that they provided. It's going to grade its SEO, it's going to grade its design, competition, market, give us a quick pitch, and it's going to give us the option to either send or reject their proposal to meet. There we go. So it probably took 30 to 45 seconds. And just like that, we've got our new lead in here with name, email, business website, reason for meeting, status. So you can see with Django, which we had already approved right here, it actually updates the status to approved as well once you do that. So you can keep track of everything. It's a live spreadsheet. As soon as you interact in Slack and move forward with that prospect, it's going to be updated here, which is really nice. So we've got our new lead. Let's take a look. Ayla Sakura. Nice. So the website is limelighthotels.com Denver. They're a luxury hotel brand all over the world, I think, but they have a location here in Denver and maybe in somewhere else in the mountains, I think Aspen or Vail. But here's the reason for meeting, which is a hypothetical. Hello, I'm interested in creating an agent that can answer the phone, check room availability, and then book callers to available rooms live time. So website scraped. Here's their website. Now, this is a pretty good analysis because it's catching some things that you would not pick up just by looking at the website. The missing canonical tag is a notable technical gap that risks duplicate content issues, especially for a hotel brand with multiple properties that likely share templated page structures. There are no visible schema markup signals, aka, example, hotel, local business, or offer schema, which means Google is likely not surfacing rich results like star ratings, price ranges, or amenities in SERPs. A significant missed opportunity in the competitive hospitality search space. The H2 structure reads more like a marketing copy than a keyword targeting headings, which limits the page's ability to rank for high-intent queries like book downtown Denver hotel or Denver hotel near Union Station. That's huge right there. So, I mean, just by entering this website, we've got real things that we can go to this business to and say, your website sucks, but your website is leaving a lot on the table in a world where Google has the most web-rich LLM model and you're not optimizing for it. So that is huge and very valuable information right there, just on the first SEO and digital presence. And we've also got the analysis for website design and UX. So it gets into the content leans heavily on brand prestige, but buries conversion pathways. So, I mean, this is fantastic. It's giving literally the things that you need to do your outreach with to this business. And you didn't have to do any of this research manually. This is just given to you on a platter while you're at the gym, while you're working on something. You can just check your phone and easily approve or reject or send a manual email as well. So in this case, just to show, for example, we want them on our calendar because they're a luxury hotel brand. So we're gonna hit approve, give it a second, and watch for up here because this is gonna update as well. So boom, right there. The calendar link, or the status is now approved. We've sent the calendar link, given confirmation right here. Making hopefully our final corrections here. The last update is to preserve each research dossier when you actually hit the approve button or deny button. So what had been happening was after you hit submit, unfortunately, the research goes away. So I want to be able to scroll and quickly reference people that have just submitted their information as leads instead of that being deleted. And with the sheet over here, it's only creating this much of the report and putting it into the sheet. So instead of the entire report being saved at least into the sheet as a backup, because, you know, honestly, Slack is going to delete this in 60 days. I'm on the free workspace right now. Unless I change that, it'll get deleted. So you have the entire script generated as a backup here in the sheets. However, it's not giving you the full report. So the last things that we did in VS Code are just preserving the actual report and analysis, which is actually really helpful with the new Sonnet 4.6 model, and then the full analysis in Google Sheets as a backup as well. So that was the most recent deployment, and we've got a test here, Dinjarin, with a nail salon studio in Denver, and we're gonna see how it works. So here we go. Okay, it looks like we did indeed get the full report. Okay, great. So now you can see that we have the entire report here saved into the cell. We took away that limit, the character limit. So now we're gonna have the entire report here to reference. And this is great because now you can easily reference this with all of your LLMs if you have them connected to Google Sheets, right? You can reference this spreadsheet very easily in all of your AI tools. So we'll take a look at the Slack and see how it did. So our new lead here, Dinjarin, that's correct. The email here and the website. And the reason for meeting, need a 24/7 appointment booker for our nail salon that integrates with our calendar. I heard you were the best, Din. Well, all right then. So this is a really cool note that we had written into the code. This email was previously submitted. So anytime you actually get a duplicate email, which I've just been using the same email because I was wondering if it was going to pick up on this correctly, it's going to tell you that this person has submitted or that email has submitted before, which is a really cool feature that you can pick up on at a quick glance here in Slack. Studio Salon Denver, discovery call brief for the TravisStrayman.ai consulting group, SEO and digital presence, 3 H1 tags on a single page is a structural SEO error that dilutes keyword authority and confuses search engine crawlers. There should only be 1 and 2 of the 3 are either empty or generic. The site is targeting competitive terms like Denver's best nail salon, but likely lacks the local citation depth, review velocity, and backlink profile needed to dominate that phrase against established competitors. There's also no visible schema markup, local business, service, or FAQ page mentioned, which is a missed opportunity for rich search result features that drive click-through rates. So this is a really valuable add-on because we're just using the Claude Sonnet 4.6 that just released. It's going to be their second best model other than Opus 4.6, right? And like it's not going to use as many tokens, and you get a really nice analysis here that you can take a look at and then, you know, make an actionable decision on and include some of this in your pitch when you're actually on that call, because you can bring these things up and point to these specific things that you identified where you can add value. So that's just on the SEO and digital presence, but then you also have website design and UX. So it's going to give you even more analysis right there, business and market analysis with specific prices, competitive position, and then their website again down here. So this is obviously a lead that anyone would want to work with. Let's hit approve and we'll see if we get that email. And also pay attention here because this will be updated to approved as well. Okay, so approved calendar link sent, approved, marked in the spreadsheet, updated. So that's the really nice thing as well. It acts as a live spreadsheet that updates dynamically with how you respond in Slack. And then here's the email right here. So this is one that we approved. So the subject is going to be let's talk. Here's my booking link. Hi, Din. Thanks so much for reaching out. I'd love to connect and learn more about what you're working on. You can grab a time here that works best using the link below. And then it pulled out my booking calendar right here where they can book a call with me. And then that begins the discovery process with the lead. This is a very simple way that you can bridge that gap from just a no-code canvas to an agentic workflow by adding components like Modal to the mix. We don't even use N8N in this whole automation. It's all through a Webhook, Slack, and Claude Code. This is a really cool way to structure new automations that give you a lot more possibilities to add complexity to your workflow. It works on multiple levels when you think about it, because your funnel here in your website is a portfolio for all of your services, and it shows off what you offer, and it directs web traffic towards the top of your funnel, right? So this is just a way to organize that web traffic a little bit more, filter it, and also be professional with a quick first outreach that facilitates a Zoom meeting or a video conference with that prospect if you approve them. And if you decide to decline them, then you can still send them more of your lead magnets, resources, links, social media, whatever it may be, right? So either way, you're interacting with these leads in a productive and engaging and professional way. And you're doing this through primarily free services. So, everyone has Google Sheets, everyone has Gmail. You can get this Slack for free. The only part of this that you're really paying for is Claude Code and then Framer, of course, right? $15 a month, I think it's definitely worth it. But anyway, so you get your lead, it gets saved into your Google Sheet. I mentioned you can then interact with all of your LLMs that have connectivity with it. So Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and then you get the really, really polished analysis by Sonnet 4.6, which gives you legitimate actionable insights on things that you might not pick up at first, right? By looking at a website right off the bat, just visually, you're maybe not going to pick up on some of these things. So the SEO and digital presence analysis is really a nice to have right off the bat for your new leads. The website design and UX, this is nice as well, because if it's an outdated website, you can offer to remake their website pretty easily with AI tools as an upcharge or a part of the package, right? So, and then business and market analysis. This is good for just understanding how their business works, how it's positioned, who they sell to, which is great. And then same thing with the competitive position. So learning a little bit more about what automations they would find useful and the differentiators for them. And then at the bottom here, the approved as well. So you can keep track of all your leads quickly in Slack just by pulling up your phone. You can approve it and send those emails off as well, decline, or you can always do the manual outreach as well. But this is an example of how you can really bridge the gap of N8N workflows to more agentic ones with Claude Code by using Modal to set up API endpoints that you can basically call through Python scripts to handle a lot of that complexity. And then as far as packaging it, you can definitely set that up for them as a team member in Modal, and then you have all the files as well. So you can integrate this with said business's stack pretty easily. This is definitely something that is very valuable for any coaches, consultants, anyone that is selling a service really can set this up for their own business. And it's just going to organize and make everything filtered so that you can optimize the most pressing things for your business, and then take care of outreach, at least the first meeting, automatically, right?